Hello and welcome to Interesting Family Facts. Yes, an interesting family fact for you, my family. Well, we're looking at this man. You're thinking, well, who are we looking at down here? Who is this person? Well, I'm looking particularly at Frist. What a lovely name. Frist. Lowland. Interesting. He was born, actually, in Worplesdon. Did you know that? No, you didn't, because I've just told you, didn't I? I can actually have a look at him. Frist, here's Frist. Let's have a little look at his profile. He was born in 1480 in Worplesdon, and about 1530 he died. And he was married to a Mary Alicia. That's the only record that we actually have of him. But he and she had a son called John Lowland, and it translates to Loveland. How nice, isn't it? Particularly as I'm recording this on the day of my parents' 57th wedding anniversary. Can you believe it? Well, anyway, Frist Loveland and John Loveland. Who are they? Who are they? Well, interestingly, as a boy, I can remember going along the River Way in Guildford and you coming along to that lovely yellow sand on the right-hand side, and you climb up this sand, and at the top of this sand there's I think it's a monastery that was destroyed at some particular point. Henry VIII era, I would have thought. St. Catherine's. St. Catherine's, yes, that's right. Well, did you know that this John Lowland, he lived on St. Catherine's? Yes, if you look at here, you see that he lived in 1510, Catherine Hill, and he died there too in 1558. But who is he? Who is this man? Is he related to us, I asked myself. Did you see he had a brother called John Lord of Norwich? Now, I'm not sure if that was John Lord of Norwich or John Lord of Norwich. Anyway, I digress. What we're looking at here is though his daughter, Catherine. See, Catherine, she was also born in Guildford, 1544. But you can see that she died in 1598 in Seal. Yes, you're right. She moved because she married a guy called John Budd of Seal. Well, let me show you where it all fits in. So we're going to view the tree, and we're going to view this particular tree, and we're going to find these people here. You see, there is Frist and Elisha. And John Loveland, he married Mary Elisha Thomas. That's where she gets the name from. And this is Evan Thomas. Evan Thomas. And we're related to Evan Thomas. Do you know where he was from? He was from Wales. He's Welsh. Yes, Welsh. Can't believe it. Oh dear. So, here we go. I'm going to take you on a ride and show you, put you out of your misery and tell you where this line comes from. Who is it that's related to someone who was living on St. Catherine's in 1500? Well, you have to go back through John and you have to follow them. They had Catherine, as we showed you earlier. And Catherine married a John Budd, who was from the family Joan Budd and Abraham Lee. Well, their child, Joan Lee, married a John Bambrick. Good name, John Bambrick. Well, they had a daughter called Anne, who married a William Staunton. And this is where we have Jane Stanton. Staunton became Stanton, the name was obviously changed a little bit there. And they marry into the Trimmer family. Now the Trimmers, they were quite a big family for us. They lasted quite a long few generations for this particular line of thinking. And you see, we're back to here in the 1700s, the Trimmer. And of course, he was from Farnham. So we have Jenna living out in Farnham. Who knows? Could be walking the very steps that John Trimmer had walked years ago with his wife. And I think her name is Frances Rymer Griffiths. And she was from Wollaston in Shropshire. Anyway, she married John, and they had a James, and another James coming up, you see, and another Mary. The Trimmer stops there. So we had a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 generations of trimmers. 6 generations of trimmers, actually. And maybe some more at some particular point. So 6 generations of trimmers. So if you ever meet a trimmer, could be related to trimmer, then, of course, we're going trimmer to trimmer. Sarah Farmer, of course. Sarah was from Willingdale Doe in Essex. James married Elizabeth Mann. I don't know where she was, but could be locally. Then you've got Mary, and she now marries a James Lane. James Lane and Mary Trimmer. Now James, of course, he is from North Weald, Bassett in Essex. You can see him here. And he is married to Mary. And they had quite a few children, again, who were related to. So we go back to them. We can see there is in William James. And I have to go back here again. Where we go? Here we are. So there we have Mary and James and Anne. Anne Lane marries Thomas Bird. And the Bird family are quite big for us as well. They go back quite a way. They were from Stamford Rivers in Essex. That's pretty much the neighbourhood of my grandmother. But which grandmother is it? And we've got Thomas Bird and Lane. And then we come to Mary Ann Bird, who marries a Henry William Sitch. So now we're back into the proper years of 1868. So this is now a more recent year period. And I can let you see that the relationship is actually my mother. My mother was born in Guildford. Her family have travelled all around, but her distant relation here, Catherine Loveland, was born living on St Catherine's. I thought that was quite interesting. So there we go. There's Mary Ann Bird and Henry William Sitch, and then you have Gertrude May Sitch, who married Frederick Dicker, and Frederick Dicker's father was Frederick Dicker, the famous Frederick Dicker, which we'll come to in another one, maybe in Interesting Facts Part 2. There's Frederick Dicker, and there's Margaret Maud Dicker, and there's my mother. So my mother, and then obviously me. So in a way, I'm related. Well, I am not in a way. I am related to that very person who was living on St Catherine's in 1510, whatever it was. So that's really the fact I wanted to share today. So there you go. Thank you very much.